brave, driven, and inspired. What does that mean when you hear those words? Well, to be brave means that you will do whatever it takes to do what you have to overcome the obstacles you need to get to your goal. How about driven? You go for what you know. You don't quit. You have that innate feeling from inside not to ever quit. Inspired. What does inspiration mean to you? To know that there's something out there, to be inspired, to take that energy and then grab the bull by the horns and keep it moving. Well, Stephen Hawking was born January 8, 1942 in Oxford, England. At the early age, Hawking showed passion for science and the sky.
At 17 years old, he entered Oxford University.
Stephen Hawking has admitted in many cases that he was not the most ambitious student. One day he calculated that he spent about maybe an hour a day on schoolwork.
In 1962, Hawking moved to Cambridge University for a PhD in cosmology, and 1 year later was diagnosed with ALS, Lou Gehrig's disease.
ALS is a progressive motor neuron disease, so over time, the victim loses functionality of muscles. And over the past decades, Stephen Hawking has gradually lost the use of most of his muscles, but his mind remains quite keen.
I think that once he was hit with this earth-shattering diagnosis, he actually sought a refuge in doing physics. And if anything, it helped him become one of the world's great scientists.
Although his diagnosis only gave him 2.5 years to live, Hawking married in 1965 and stunned the science world in 1974 with his PhD on black holes.
Stephen taught us how to define a black hole. He then made a brilliant discovery that black holes can radiate, Hawking radiation. That then showed the whole world the connection between black hole physics and thermodynamics. And that connection has been a central theme in theoretical physics ever since.
Most people have obstacles when they go outside and when there's snow, when there's rain, when their car has an oil leak or something like that, like most people. Yeah, I'm going to take it and bring it to just regular life. What about when we go to school, or if we're in school and we have homework to turn in? How many times do we procrastinate? How many times are we faced with everyday challenges and we make them harder than they have to be? And what about when we say, oh my gosh, we get up in the morning and we say we just cannot do it anymore? Well, Stephen Hawking, he wasn't that type of person. He's not that type of person. He rose above and beyond countless times after countless time with his education, groundbreaking things as it relates to science. And you know what? He was very unselfish, and he didn't want to do it for himself. He wanted to do it for the discovery, and he also wanted to help out and inspire mankind.
And 5 years later, Hawking was named Cambridge University's Lucasian Professor of Mathematics, an honor bestowed on only 14 people since 1663.
Stephen Hawking is a theoretical physicist of a very specific kind. He studies cosmology, particle physics, gravity. That's trying to understand the very basic laws of physics as well as where the universe itself came from.
Hawking sees things that other people didn't see, time and again. He just thinks more deeply than most of the rest of us. And those insights have had big consequences.
Even though Hawking deteriorated to the point that he needed a computerized speech synthesizer to speak, he wrote A Brief History of Time in 1988, selling more than 10 million copies.
Stephen Hawking's book, A Brief History of Time, which was a bestseller for weeks and weeks, was about some of the most profound questions that face humanity. It's really about where we come from and where we're headed, from a physicist's point of view.
Could you imagine if you were diagnosed with ALS? What would you do? Your legs don't work anymore. Your arms don't work anymore. You can't speak. And people around you are definitely going to treat you differently. What will you do if you're faced with those obstacles? What would you do if you're faced with the adversity from within? what would you do if you had these physical limitations? Well, despite his debilitating illness, he has done groundbreaking work in physics and cosmology and has several books which has helped people understand science from all levels. I'm talking little kids to teenagers to adults. Stephen Hawking is an amazing person. He's a person that's resilient, who is brave, who's driven, who's inspired, and, an individual who has a family, and he let nothing get in the way of who he was supposed to become. Oftentimes, people will be fixated on the little things in life. Oh, I have a flat tire. Oh, I don't have that much food in my house. Oh, someone doesn't love me. Oh, I just don't feel like doing it. And ALS, it doesn't give you a chance. It doesn't give you an opportunity. It doesn't give you a warning as relates to your physical health. Matter of fact, it limits you from a lot of things. But this gentleman, he did not let this stop him from who he was supposed to become. For that reason, Stephen Hawking, you are an American hero.
Stephen Hawking is a scientist who's had a tremendous impact on our understanding of the universe and the laws of nature. At the same time, as a human being, he has been an inspiration to the world, to his colleagues, and to people with disabilities everywhere.